What's up, everybody? Aaron and Copper here, and we're on the trail. We've got about 6 days, 5, whatever aside here left on the walk. This is kind of our tack on week, the extra week I threw in. And I have one last stretch on the trail I want to hit that we're going to use right at the end, but I found out that I missed the main part of Lost Cove. Got around to looking it up, and so we're going to go back there. And we're going to do some more fishing for a few days before we hit our last little stretch of the walk. Been a great trip so far. Eye-opening, you know, been a lot different than I anticipated, what I expected it to be. So I'll tell y'all more about that in a later video. But for this video, we're gonna go up here, just fishing, find Lost Cove, staying at Uncle Johnny's hostel. Great place. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed the little time I've spent there. And staying there for a couple nights, and we're gonna go, once I find Lost Cove, we might go up there and camp a little bit. Then we want to hit our last few days on that final stretch of the walk. So Copper is happy to be out walking again. It's the 4th of July, by the way, and we went home, spent a couple days for the holiday weekend with Mom and Dad at the mountain farm. And now we're gonna get back to the mental health break part. I think I've got the physical part whipped. I want to hit that mental health part. Fishing is good for that. Plus, I really want to see the rest of Lost Cove we didn't find. So, you guys have already seen the railroad tracks. So we're just going to hurry up and get up there so we can get to the fun stuff. All right, so we made it our 3.5, 4 miles up the tracks here, and we're back where we were when I caught my trout. This is the entrance to Lost Cove from the railroad tracks. Just so you guys understand here, this is what it looks like. Lost Cove. You can't tell that this is here. So now that I have a little bit better idea of where the main settlement is, we're going to go back up here and see if we can't figure out where everything's at. this is steep. All right, so you can see our little path here. I found it. I'm pretty sure this is the spur up the mountain we need to be following. But I'm a few weeks into this. I don't have my big backpack on, and having walked as much as we've walked, I'm in pretty decent shape as far as just walking the mountains. This is pretty much one tree to the next. Take a breather and go on up. I mean, you can see this is just insanely steep. I think we're only about a quarter mile out, so I'm gonna keep hoofing. See if we can find a little stream, set down, and before we do an exploring, we'll take a little break. All right, I think I'm getting closer, and here's why. Oh, no, I don't think this is Bonnie and Clyde's car. I think this is just a bunch of people that shot this old girl up for no good reason. See, it looks like it has had an old wooden flatbed on it at one time. So, at some point, this road was good enough. Our trail was good enough for him to bring this down. Not sure I don't want driven down this road in this old truck, but they did. Really cool. Next to a humongous old poplar tree. See here, looks like we got a part of an old cast iron stove. That's the top where the burners went. Tin from where the roof was. Got the chimney. See back here. So there was a house here at one point. Definitely. That's an old fuel tank out of another car. Huh. How cool. Well, let's keep going and see what else we can find. Rush. Shut up. All right, everybody, so well, I wanted to follow this old spring, and if you guys have seen my other channel, I haven't posted on a little while, Southern Copper Chronicles, you know, I enjoy home distilling, and one of the things I knew for a fact that somewhere up here used to be a moonshine still, and I have a feeling, now this is pure conjecture, but having grown up in Western North Carolina and my ancestors all having, or not all, some having been moonshiners, and not necessarily moonshiners, but out of necessity having made moonshine in Appalachia. That was a source of income with any extra crops you had. Kind of know what to look for. So I want to show you guys something. I doubt, with this being such a traveled area and the national forest, that there's any parts of us still left. But I wanted to show you what it would have looked like. So if you look right here, you see this really awesome little spring that runs down, comes up here, and then right here there's like this little dam, this rock bridge. Copper will stay out of the way. He likes to lay right behind me for some reason. You can see how they built this up, and it looks like a rock wall in the middle of a spring, or in the middle of this little dip right here where the spring runs down. So what this would have been is a dam, basically. They would have put all these rocks in, made this little land bridge, this little dam, so that this area right here would have filled up with water. Probably at one point this was a little pond. Now it could have just been a place that they wanted to make a place easy to draw fresh water from, with this being a nice spring. I like to think that on down the way, down through here, oh look, there's a bucket. Let's see if I might have gotten a little bit lucky. So you see some old bottles here, or oh well, they're not old, that's a newer bottle obviously. Alright, so if you see right here, remnants of an old bucket. But what would have happened is down here a ways, you can see that land bridge is up there. This is where they would have built their still. Some of these rocks, they would have brought the still up here. And this is where they would have set up their cook site. They would have had barrels. They would have made their mash. They would have carried all their corn, and if they were using sugar back in here, and they would have fermented it. And then when they set up their cook site, they would have ran a tube down from that dam where that standing water was. That would have been the cooling water, the condenser water for the still, so that they would take the mash, which is basically beer, or wine for all intents and purposes, just made out of corn, wheat, barley, rye, whatever they had, and they would have condensed that alcohol into a alcohol vapor. And so they had to cool the alcohol vapor back down into a liquid, so they had to have cold running water. So obviously electricity would never have been down here. They didn't had pumps would have been real expensive. So what they did was gravity feed. They had made a little lake, a dam, a little pond, and used pipe, some whatever they had that would carry the water, and run that into a worm, a coiled up copper pipe. So the steam, the alcohol vapor, would have went up into that coiled up pipe with the water all around it, and it would have condensed alcohol vapor back down into pretty much pure alcohol. We're going to go with my story that this is an old still site. I bet you at sometime there was a still setting here. I would be willing to bet money on it. Really, really cool. We're gonna go on up a little bit, see if we see any more evidence of that. We're gonna go finish finding what other cool stuff we can find around here. Sometimes you just have to ask yourself why. At some point in history, somebody thought it'd be funny to put this old wheel in between these trees when they were smaller, and now you can see this thing is grown into this and wedged. Probably not too long ago, but in sometime in the future, it's probably gonna almost disappear, and all you're gonna see is just a little bit of this wheel sticking out of this little birch tree here. That's gonna be pretty funny. Why? Why not? All right, so right here you can see almost nothing left of it. You can see bits and pieces of, looks like poor trailing there, or that's a bed. I see bed springs. You see tin, you know, rocks, keep copper off this tin. So this was a house right here at some point. Now if you look at all that stuff in there with big leaves, I had forgotten how crappy that was. Oh, they're called stinging nettles. And they sting the crap out of you. Trying to keep copper out of most of that. Not fair for him to get all stung up. Come on, copper. But I know I walked up in there and it didn't feel good. They definitely irritate your skin. Not really like poison ivy, not a rash. It's more of an immediate ouch. See if we can get up on this little trail here. All right, there we go. Come on, copper. Come on, Bobo. Ah, there we go. All right, so you can see this wall right here. This would have been, I think, the outside foundation of a house. Yep, look at this. Old stove. Oh, again, never know whether there's going to be a bee's nest or a snake. But there's definitely a house standing here, old cast iron stove. And you can walk on up in here. Probably something else up in here. A little hard for copper to get up in this, so we'll find another way around. Man, look at the size. That is one giant poplar tree. Oh, here we go. This is probably the house that stove came from. See what's left of the tin on the roof. The chimney. And you can see the, nothing down in here was real fancy. There wasn't any real fancy houses. People were down in here were lumberjacks, sawyers, cutting wood. That's why they were in here. They were logging. So these were all just simple houses, log cabins. They did not have lots of money, but they still worked their butt off to make a living. There's a chimney there right down the road, a little ways. Follow a couple of these little paths back up in here. See what else we can find. Oh. Rugged land. You see all the orange engineer tape, and there's also red paint I've seen scattered around through here. And everywhere that is where there's like a historic structure, or you know, like the old automobiles. So I'm assuming just to keep stuff from getting totally swallowed up and forgotten, that someone has come up here and marked these spots so that people can come enjoy the history behind it and look at the stuff that's left here. See, I think I see some stuff up here. That's a big pile of rocks. A couple of big piles of rocks. It looks like maybe at one point there was maybe a couple chimneys, or this could be where it's not incredibly steep here. It's one of the levelest places I've seen. So I'd almost be willing to say that this is where they would have had a field to grow some food at some point. The trees aren't massive, and they would have piled all those rocks up. You know, they would have had to plow it and clear the field, so they would have built their chimneys and then pile all the rocks up in one spot to get them out of the field. You can see how clear, you know, there's not all the rocks right here that there is when you walk on up in the rougher areas. And you see there's one, two, here's a third big pile of rocks. All kinds of, that is definitely copper. All right, Copper is really tired. We walked those railroads. This walk has worn him out. So I want to explore right around in here a little bit. And we're going to give Copper a chance to chill out and go to sleep. All right, Bobo, go ahead. You can sleep for a minute. Lay down in nice soft grass, huh? Oh, thank you. Good boy. All right, see, I want to take a look at this. This is definitely where they would have plowed up the field, or plowed the fields in this area. Because this is, as unlevel and hilly as this is, it could have been plowed. It could have been a garden. They would have had to have, they couldn't bring all their food in. They had to grow some food, have pasture for some cattle or goats, sheep, whatever they had in this area. And you're gonna see these big, huge, massive piles of rocks. I mean, this is a lot of rocks. It took people a long time plowing and picking up rocks and plowing and picking up rocks and just making these huge piles of rocks to get them out of the way. How cool. You can definitely see why this place is lost. The name Lost Cove fits perfectly. And I think this is about the last pile of rocks I see. And as you can see, it starts getting much more rugged and be about impossible to get a plow and a team of horses or mules up in here. And if you look down where that last pile of rocks ends, you can start to see the rocks on the ground. When we were back down that way, you didn't see any rocks on the ground because they were all in big rock piles. Whew. Oh man. Well, I'm gonna head back down here where Copper is. I think it might be a good time. I think he has the right idea. I want to take a breather. Hey, we're going to sit down for a minute and just enjoy the solitude and the beauty. Drink some water. Alright, so I'm going with my moonshine theory. I have seen quite a few of these. This is a little jar. Can or freeze. Obviously it's not that old. But we're going to go with, this proves my theory, it doesn't really. It kind of fits. I'm gonna roll with it. But I think they probably would have used bigger jars. This would have been a sip. So we made it back down to the copper pot. And as I was saying, he started. Hey Copper. Copper, his dad made you walk too much today? Are you okay? Are you tired? He's right. Let's check and see. I think we've walked somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5 to 6 miles today. 6.1 miles is what we've walked, and we walked that in about the past 2.5 hours. So yeah, we've come a good distance, and it's warm. So that is why he is out. Let's let him rest. All right. So here's something interesting I want to show you guys. You see that spring up there comes really right out of the ground, right in that spot. You see these old pipes seem kind of random. What they would have done is they built up another little dam right there, and you know, it perhaps with the moonshine still, like I was saying, or with drinking water, that's what they would have done. They would have made the dam, and they would have put the pipe in there coming out so that they would have had a nice steady flow of water to get a bucket under. So that's what these old pipes, rusty pipes, are here for. It was here to make easy access for the water. Copper thinks it was to make easy access just for him. on, Copper. So somebody started camping here. Hey, we're going to come up in here, camp here in a day or two. For now, we're going to live the life of luxury at Uncle Johnny's. And I believe this is the last standing building, intact building down here. So you can see what I was saying, just a very simple house. Now this one's not a log cabin like the one on down the road. This was probably, if I had to say, built one of the later houses that was built here based on the brick in the chimney and the construction. This one was probably built later on, around the 20s or 30s. And you notice, you know, a lot of dimensional cut lumber, the siding and the floors. So this would have been after the railroad was established in 1900, 1901, when this place was settled. So that house would have been, you know, sometime later when the railroad was probably in full swing, and they were able to get cut lumber down in here, and that's what they built that out of instead of having to build a log cabin. So pretty cool. You saw all the graffiti. It's kind of a shame, but one of the last pieces of standing history that's still back in here. So really cool, really neat. Awesome place. It's definitely not easy to get to. It is lost. I think Hidden Cove might have been a better fit. Lost Cove definitely describes it as well. So we're gonna go up one more trail here and see what else we can find before we start heading back. We got 6 miles back from here, so we got to hike, and more importantly, we got a river full of fish that we need to get to. So me and Copper were walking on up. I started thinking back to the research I'd done and the design of this building that's still standing, and I'm pretty sure this was the school. One room design, you know, some windows. There's one room there. I doubt there wouldn't have been plumbing or anything. I'm not sure, just a closet, maybe the teacher's office. I'm not sure, but the more I think about it, the more I'm pretty sure that this was probably the school, and that makes sense that it's a later design, the construction and everything, because they would have obviously had to build the houses and establish everything originally, and then families would have moved in, people would have had kids, and they would have needed somewhere for them to go to school. So pretty sure that's probably what that old building was. Pretty neat. Well, we are going to head back down. I think we've discovered what we came to discover. Now there is a cemetery around here, somewhere. But we've already went, at this point, a little over 7 miles. We gotta walk those 7 miles back. And if we want to fish, we gotta get a move on. And besides, I promised Robert I'll leave him something to discover if I can get him to come up. So I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of what you missed on our walk back down, and let you guys see just how beautifully rugged this country is. I'm impressed. It's something else. Sorry, Robert. So, we did come across the cemetery after all. So you can see 1924 to 1943. Died young, only 19. Some of these are hard to make out. They're older, but you can tell that they were grave markers for children. And you can see where someone has been trying to keep things marked, where they're missing. The grave sites are missing. Here, hard to make out. December. I want to say 1932 and 1932. I think this is where a child was buried, a young child. And it would have been, I mean, if you think about how rugged this is, how hard it is to get out of here, how far back in the middle of nowhere this is, going to a doctor, I mean, just things that today we take for granted, and get a shot when you're a kid, and You don't even have to worry about it. Then it wouldn't have happened. The smallest thing could have, you know, spelled death. Bonnie Miller, daughter of John Miller, born June 2nd, 1922, died June 3rd, 1938. So 16. And if you can tell, if you look at the inscription, this gravestone here, it wasn't made by a professional. You know, this, you can see how rough this is. This was probably somebody's dad made this. Somebody like me, they're just a little bit handy, knew just a little bit about how to make stuff, but definitely not a professional gravestone. You know, they made this on site down here. Definitely seems to be more children down here in this cemetery than there are adults. Russell Tipton, 1914, died 1936, and we're gonna get this little dude. Be real careful. Move him off of here, hey buddy. So, you know, this was rugged land. Wiley Tipton, 1864 to 1934. Huh. Lost history. But it is nice to see that, you know, it's not totally overgrown. Nowhere near as bad as some of the cemeteries that Robert comes across on Sidestep. You know, maintained. It's in Pisgah National Forest, so it is preserved, and what a beautiful spot. What a beautiful spot. You know, so peaceful and just beautiful. Kind of leaves you a little bit lost for words, really. And you guys know me, I'm not lost for words very often. Got a lot to think about. Well, that was quite a trek, I must say. It was something else. The old copper pot here has had better days. Poor guy. He stopped to take a pee next to a log. Happened to have a yellow jacket's nest in it. Luckily, I heard him. He started to yell, so I was able to get him out of there. I didn't get stung, but he got popped right on the ear. And if you look right here, you can see the knot where he got swolled up. And you would have thought literally that there was puppy murder going on, because he was yelling. And poor guy, he's about had enough for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Really cool. Part of me wishes that it was a little bit easier to access so people could see it. But more of me is glad that it is so remote and hard to get to, because that's the reason that it is still history from 100 years ago that's still here, and people can see it and appreciate just how hard life in Appalachia was at the turn of the century, before, you know, modern conveniences. Really cool. Really enjoyed it. and absolutely gorgeous scenery. Probably one of the best days I've had on the walk yet. It was a lot of fun, and I'll definitely be coming back here when I can, just to appreciate my heritage and appreciate what makes this country so great. And I think it makes it even a little bit hit a little bit more home because it is 4th of July, you know, so really cool. Great country we live in. Everybody should be proud of it. And while I was lost, I found Lost Cove. Alright folks, make sure and like, subscribe, and share if you would like to see more videos like this, and so you don't miss any more of the videos from the healing walk. And we're gonna go and see what else might be swimming around in that river. Alright everybody, make sure and have a nice day, and happy 4th of July.